So like I said, we'll get to the questions and answers at the very end, but yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy my presentation, and I look forward to all of your questions at the end. So you've already seen my face, but just in case, I'm going to put it up again. So my name is Carrie. I'm the industry sales manager for Intrepid Travel for Europe, Middle East and Africa. So quite a large region, keeps me busy. If just in case you wanted to see what I look like I said, you can already see what I look like. But this photograph was taken on our Explore Northern Thailand itinerary, and it's usually where I'm happiest, is when I've got a lot of lovely, yummy food in front of me. So I just wanted to introduce myself very quickly to you guys. But like I said, we'll do cameras on at the end and we can do some questions. So I'm going to be talking all about Intrepid Travel today. And we'll start at the very, very start. So Intrepid was born 32 years ago. This picture was taken on a trip in Africa in 1988. Our two founders are two guys from Melbourne, Australia, called Darryl Wade and Jeff Manchester, and they really wanted to do an overland trip of Africa. But obviously doing something like this can be quite costly, especially if you just have two people with you. So you need to have these big overland trucks like the one that you can see in the photograph in front of you. So what the guys decided to do was they wanted to put a little ad into the local paper just to see if anybody was willing to, help them split the costs and come with them and have an amazing adventure in Africa. So all the lovely people that you see in the photograph in front of you are the people that answered that ad, and they went on the trip with them. So it was on this trip that Jeff and Darryl were talking, and they were thinking, gosh, I wonder, could we set up a business doing these kind of tours? So they went back to Melbourne, and in 1989, Intrepid was born. So we are 32 years in business, and we've had 32 years of adventures and lots more to come. So just to give you an idea of who we are and what we do. So Intrepid are all about small groups, big adventures and sustainable travel. So we have over 1,000 itineraries in over 120 countries on 7 continents. So that is a lot of trips. And every day my list keeps getting longer and longer because we add more trips and we add more trip styles and things like that. So it's very, very hard to kind of narrow everything down. But yeah, my list just keeps growing longer and longer. So we have local leaders in absolutely every destination that we travel to, and they are absolutely incredible. We have 4 distinct trip styles that I'm going to talk about in a little bit. So there's really something there to suit all budgets and needs of our travelers. So what we do is we really take travelers off the beaten path, and we'll go to more rural destinations. We'll really get to the heart of a destination through the local people. And what we do is we want to give you a really authentic experience and give you a real insight into local living. So of course, our travelers aren't just going to see a place, but they're going to really live it, and they'll make a positive impact along the way, because we'll actually stay in family-run hotels. We'll eat in local restaurants. So we do use some chain hotels in some destinations, but we do try to support those smaller businesses where we can. So when you're traveling with us, all the money that you're spending is going back into the local economy, and it's supporting local businesses and supporting local jobs as well, which is very important. And I'm really happy to let you know that Intrepid are the world's largest travel B Corp in the world. So you're probably wondering what that means. I had no idea what a B Corp business was either before I started with Intrepid, but it basically means that we balance our purpose with our profits. So like I said, we give back to local communities. We have the Intrepid Foundation, which is the charitable arm of Intrepid. So we support a lot of different charities around the world. So a lot of the time when you're traveling with us, the money is staying in the local economies, and it's just really helping to support those local businesses, like I said. And Intrepid recently became the first tour operator with verified science-based targets to achieve a low carbon future. So this is in line with the UN's Paris Climate Agreement, and we're aiming to do our part, because we know that the travel industry is not the best industry for the planet, but we want to try and do our part to help lower those carbon emissions. So small group travel really does mean more flexibility. So on all of our trips, you can expect about 10 like-minded travelers in the group, which is a really, really lovely small size. It just means that we can go places that those bigger groups can't go. We can stay in the small family-run hotels, like I said. We can mingle with the locals. We can eat in the local restaurants. And of course, it means as well that there's a lot more time with your leader. So we can kind of accommodate, any tastes and special interests and dietary requirements. We can slow down the speed of the trip if people are kind of struggling and it's going a bit too fast. So it's amazing having those small groups, because it just means that we have a lot more flexibility in what we can do on the actual trip itself. And if anybody is joining us and you're a solo traveler, you might be happy to learn that over 50% of our customers are actually traveling solo as well. And of all of these solo travelers, about 60% are female. So solo travelers really do love to travel with Intrepid, and they love having that small group feel, a local leader to know that somebody's there to look out for them along the way. And it just means as well that they'll meet a few friends along the way too. So in terms of costs as well, for any solo travelers who might have any questions at the end, I might try and cover it now. For anybody who's traveling solo, you do have the option to share a room with somebody of the same gender. So if you don't mind doing that, then that option is there for you. But of course, we know that some people might not feel comfortable with that, especially in a post-COVID world. You know, you might want to have your own room. And in this case, then there are some small single supplements available. And I'm really happy to say as well that if you choose to travel solo and you choose to travel to share a room with somebody of the same gender, if it happens that there is no other solo traveler of your gender, then you just automatically get the room to yourself. So you're not going to be forced to pay a single supplement, which is really nice. So we really want to make traveling the local way as easy as possible for you. So literally, we just want you to focus on all the fun stuff, take it all in, enjoy every moment, and we'll look after all the logistics for you. So like I said, we have our experienced local leaders who are absolutely incredible. They know the destination like the back of their hand. They've grown up there. They know absolutely everything about it. They love it, and they really want you to fall in love with their country as much as they do. So our leaders are one of our huge USPs and really set us apart from some of our competitors. So we do use a mixture of local and public transportation. This is because we want to try and limit our carbon emissions where possible. Sometimes it's not always possible to use the public transportation. Sometimes it's not reliable. Sometimes it's not safe. In those cases, we are not going to use them. It's only if they are reliable and safe we will use them. And of course, this is a great way to meet locals as well. So I don't know if anybody's traveled on any public transportation when you're abroad, but it is a really, really good insight into local living. You can see people going to work and coming home from work and different things. So it's quite a nice experience. And I've also mentioned as well that we'll stay in small locally run hotels and eat in local restaurants as well. And some of our trips as well, we will include a homestay, which is actually a really, really incredible experience. And I was lucky enough to do this when I went on our Explore Northern Thailand itinerary, which is actually the last holiday I had before COVID. It was incredible. We got to see how the local people lived, what their houses look like. We got to experience the hospitality as well, which was just absolutely incredible. So I really, really love the homestays. It's usually the part that people are a little bit hesitant about, but it's always a favorite at the very end of the trip as well. So like I said, you're going to get a really authentic experience when traveling with Intrepid, but you're also contributing to the local economy. And I've already talked about our local leaders quite a bit, but I'm really going to talk about them again because they really do set us apart from other tour companies. Like I said, they just have unbeatable value. They really know absolutely everything there is to know. And of course, you know, it is adventure travel. So sometimes getting from A to B, there can be some little glitches along the way and road closures and things like that. But of course, having a local there, they will know the ways around this. So they're really fantastic. They're great as well because on a lot of our trips, there's a lot of free time. So they'll be able to actually give you ideas, things to do, maybe places to go and buy some souvenirs, places to check out live music in the evenings. They really are incredible. So our local leaders, like I said, they really do set us apart from some of the other tour companies out there. So we have a lot of trip themes, as you can see here. I should probably start off by saying that our average age is about 45, but we do get people traveling as young as 5 with us, and we get people in their 90s traveling with us. So it's hard to say exactly what the average age is, but it's approximately 45. So as you can see here, we have lots of amazing trip themes. So we have our 18 to 29 trips. So for anybody lucky enough to fall into that age bracket, I unfortunately don't anymore. But some people might want to travel with other younger travelers, so they can join on to these groups. The minimum age for most of our trips is 15. So if you're traveling with older teenagers, then of course they're welcome to join absolutely any group that we have. We also have our amazing active cycling and walking and trekking trips as well, which are proving to be really, really popular, especially at the latter end of 2020. I think a lot of people have gotten out and they're cycling and they're walking and hiking in their local areas, and now they fancy doing something like that when they're abroad. So whether it's cycling in Cuba or cycling in India, or maybe they want to hike Everest Base Camp, you know, there's lots of amazing trips there. So don't worry though, they're not all super active. A lot of them are a lot more relaxed and a slower pace, but these are just for our active customers who might be interested to know that we do offer this range of trips. We, of course, as well have our adventure cruising, which is small ship cruising. So it's anywhere up to 50 people on board. They're much smaller ships, so we're able to get into those really small ports that the bigger cruise ships can't get to. We're able to spend a bit more time at destination as well, because we don't have to allow as much time for disembarking and getting back onto the boat. So they're really fantastic. I love the adventure cruises, and one of my favorites is the Split Dubrovnik one. So if anybody's interested in doing anything like that, then please do get in touch with Melissa and she'll be able to help you out. Of course, we also have our polar offerings as well, or our polar expeditions. So lots of amazing trips there. And if anybody is traveling solo as well, our new ship that is down in Antarctica is the Ocean Endeavour. We actually have single occupancy cabins and there's no single supplement. So this is a really great option for anybody who wants to travel to Antarctica, but who's maybe traveling solo and just doesn't want to pay those extortionate prices to do that on your own. And of course, then we also have our sailing trips, which are very popular. With family trips too. So the minimum age on a family trip is 5 if we've got anybody with a young family listening in. They're absolutely amazing trips. We go everywhere from Thailand, Vietnam, Borneo, Morocco, Costa Rica, you name it, we've got it. So there's lots of great trips there. We also have food trips as well for anybody who's really into their food. Of course, food is a big part of all of our trips because it's a big part of any culture. But these food trips are really focused on those proper food lovers who want to do those cooking classes and cooking demonstrations. There's lots of great things on offer with the food trips. We've also teamed up with Lonely Planet to bring you some Lonely Planet experiences. So these are all around the world as well, and they're great. I absolutely love them. And last but not least is our new Intrepid Retreats. So we're going to be talking about these a little bit in just a couple of slides. So these are our new UK and European trips. So I've already kind of given you an idea of where we travel to and how many itineraries we have. Apologies, I should have updated this. That should say over 1,000 itineraries in over 120 countries on 7 continents. So we really go absolutely everywhere. So anywhere that's colored in on this slide, that's where we travel to. So there's a lot to talk about, like I said, and it's always hard to fit it into half an hour. So we're not going to talk about everywhere, don't worry. We're just going to talk about the UK. But before I do that, I want to tell you about the different trip styles that we have. So we have 4 different trip styles. I'll start with basics. So these are great for any travelers who are on a budget, for very independent travelers as well, maybe who just don't have time to sit down and plan out an itinerary. They just want to go, but they want to have a lot of free time and a lot of flexibility to do their own thing. Basics trips are absolutely perfect for them. So there's not too many meals included and there's not too many activities included on day-to-day basis, but of course all the accommodation, transportation and the local leader is included as well. So really you can tailor the days to do absolutely anything that you want to do, and your local leader will be there to help you book onto some day tours or suggest, you know, places to go and things to do. So I do really love the basics trips, but I have to say I really love our original style. So as the name suggests, it is the original Intrepid style. So approximate star rating for original style trips would be about 3 star. There's a really good mixture between included activities and free time on these trips, and that's why I really love them. I'm probably like a lot of people, I don't want to be told what to do all day, every day. And for me, original style is perfect because it has usually got an activity included in the morning and then the afternoon might be free or vice versa. So there's still plenty of time to get out and explore and do your own thing. Moving on then to our comfort trips. These are really for our customers who really want more of the creature comfort. So they still want to get away, they still want to have an adventure, but they don't want to give up that nice hotel. So comfort trips will be approximately 3.5 to 4 star accommodation. There's a lot more meals included and a lot more activities included as well as of course having your local leader along the way. So you might be thinking, well, that's great, but that's only 3. So I'm really happy to tell you that only last week we introduced a brand new style of travel, which is Intrepid Premium. So this is our highest level of service, our highest level of accommodation, highest level of knowledge, you name it, it's all in there. So Intrepid Premium trips are going to be starting in 2022. We have over 80 itineraries across, I think it's about 40 countries. Like I said, they're brand new style of trips, so there's a lot for me to still learn about these myself. But accommodation wise, you can expect 4 to 4.5 star accommodation on the Intrepid Premium trips. Of course, we will have our most knowledgeable leaders. And of course, sustainability is at the heart of everything that we do. So all of our new trips will be completely carbon offset, as are all of the rest of our trips. So when you travel with Intrepid, you can rest easy that your money is being spent in the right places, and we are trying to do our best for the planet by investing in these really great carbon credits. So if anybody has any questions about Intrepid Premium at the end, please do give me a shout. More than happy to talk about that. We're very excited. Like I said, it just launched last week. So we're really seeing that a lot of travel agents and a lot of customers are loving these trips. Oh, sorry, I'll go back one. So we're going to be talking about our UK trips today, and of course we have called these Intrepid Retreats. So they're a little bit different to our other touring itineraries. So the Intrepid Retreats are anywhere between 3 and 5 day itineraries, so they're really short. A lot of our longer touring itineraries would be 7 days plus. We have small groups across all of the trips as well, so an absolute maximum of 12 on the Intrepid Retreats. This is the same for most of the Intrepid trips, but some of the slightly more popular destinations such as Vietnam and Costa Rica, they will have a maximum of 16 people, but with the new Intrepid Retreats, we have a maximum of 12. So like I said, these trips are slightly different in that they are a little bit shorter, but they're also center-based trips. So that means you unpack once and that's it. You don't pack up again until you're leaving. So instead of touring around, you're just going to be based in one location and you're going to be doing lots of great day trips from there. So of course, we're going to immerse you in the local culture, cuisine, wellness, and nature experiences. And you'll really get to connect with and learn about the local community as well. So of course, you've got a local leader on these trips as well. So they will be local to the area and they will have incredible knowledge of the area. So feel free to burden them with all of your questions. And of course, there is lots of great activities included and lots of things to do in your free time as well. So the leaders will be able to suggest all of that for you. And of course, we do like to support our local businesses. So we will use guest houses and family-run B&Bs on some of the trips. And of course, it's a low carbon emission and all of these trips are 100% carbon offset as well. So we'll have a very quick look at our family retreat up in the Peak District. So this trip is based in Castleton, as you can see in the image. It's an original style trip. So we will stay in a beautiful guest house, I believe, on this trip. It is 3 days, so it's only 2 nights, which is nice and short. Like I said, the minimum age is 5, and there's never a maximum age on our groups. A maximum group size is 12 with a physical rating of 3 out of 5. So there are a few walks, a few hikes included in this one, just in case you're wondering why it is 3 out of 5. But it's nothing too overly strenuous because it is obviously a family trip. So there's a few inclusions on this one. There's 2 breakfasts included, which means that lunches and dinners are completely up to you what you want to do. We might have a packed lunch maybe on one of the days, but you can really kind of decide what you want to do. If you wanted to go out as a family in the evening, you can do that as well. And yes, like I mentioned as well, the accommodation is original style bed and breakfast for 2 nights. So I really love this trip because we obviously go to the beautiful Hope Valley and we'll do a village walk in Banford. There's a local beer tasting, but obviously this is only for the adults, not for the kids as well. There's a hike included to Bakewell, and there's of course a village community shop, drink and snack in Grindleford. And we'll take a look at around the Longshaw estate as well. So really love this trip. It's going to be starting in May and it runs through until October 2021 as well. Our Cycle the Lake District is a really popular trip. And actually Melissa's background really reminded me of this particular one. So it starts and finishes in Keswick and it's original style trip. It's 4 days or 3 nights. Again, minimum age is 15 on this one, maximum group size is 12. And it is a cycling trip. So it is 3 out of 5 for this particular one. There's 3 breakfasts included. And of course, our transportation is going to be bicycle the whole way through. So definitely you'd want to have a love of cycling because there is quite some lengthy cycles in this particular one, but nothing too strenuous again, like I said. So on this particular trip, we will stay in a guest house for 3 nights. And there's some really great included activities such as going to the Keswick Brewery, and we will also go to the Castlerig Stone Circle as well. So departures are running between May and October for 2021 for this trip as well. And another one that I absolutely adore is the walk the Cairngorms in the summer. So this is obviously up in Scotland. I'm Irish, so I didn't know where the Cairngorms was, but this starts and finishes in a beautiful town called Aviemore. It's comfort style, this one, so it is a slightly higher star rating for the guest house. It's 5 days or 4 nights. Minimum age is 15, and it is across most of our trips, like I said. There's 4 breakfasts included, and we do use a range between private vehicles and a public bus. And of course, we're going to do some amazing hikes in and around the Aviemore area. Lots of great guided hikes and a picnic lunch included as well. And of course, then the Cairngorms peak to pub hike. So that just sounds absolutely amazing to me. And this is another one that has departures between May and October 2021. And another one that I am so fascinated with, I really want to do this particular trip. It is the Walk the Hadrians Wall Highlights. So it starts in Carlisle and it finishes in Hedon on the Wall. It's original style, 7 days, 6 nights. Maximum group sizes for this one is slightly smaller. It's only 8 passengers on this particular one. And I believe it's smaller because we stay in lots of lovely bed and breakfast. So it's just maybe that we can't get enough allocation for 12 people on this one. But I think traveling in a group of 8 is absolutely great. I think it would be a really lovely experience. So of course, this one is walking pretty much the whole way. So it's going to be a really interesting trip and something that I would just absolutely love to do. And of course, as you can imagine, there's lots of amazing Roman forts and things like that along the way. Lots of beautiful picnic lunches that we're going to have, and walks around the towns as well that you're going to have your leader with you to kind of give you the history of the town as well. And then in Collarford, you can see the Heavenfield battle site and the Rochester Roman fort. So I really hope I'm pronouncing everything right. Departures again, running between May and October 2021. And we do have another amazing trip down in Cornwall, which is another family retreat, but there is the exact same itinerary, just in case you're not traveling with a family and you just want to go away with other people or other adults, I should say. This is pretty much the exact same trip. It's just not a family one. So if anybody's interested in that, we can always have a chat about that afterwards. So this one is based in Newquay, and we stay in a really lovely original style hotel. So about a 3-star hotel down in Newquay for 3 nights. Minimum age for this trip is 5. Like I said, family trips have a minimum age of 5. You do have to have children to travel on this trip, just in case anybody is asking or anybody is wondering. But like I mentioned, there is the exact same itinerary, but it's not a family retreat. So you can always book onto that one instead. So this one has 3 breakfasts included, and we travel with a mixture of taxi and public bus. So the reason I think that I like this one so much is because there's a real focus on wellness on this trip. So as you'll see on the second point under the included activities, there's actually a private yoga and wellness session for 2 hours, which I think is really, really fab. I think a lot of children will really enjoy this as well, because I know a lot of children are getting into their yoga and wellness at the moment. But as you can imagine, down in Cornwall, there's lots of amazing cliff walks, beautiful sights to be seen, lots of beaches. So it's a really, really fantastic chilled out itinerary as well. So it's not super strenuous, like I said. It's just some nice leisurely walks, and you just take it all in, and obviously hear about the local area from your local leader along the way as well. So this one also has departures between May and October 2021. And I had to throw this one in really quickly, guys, because this is my trip. I actually put together this trip. So I am from Kilkenny, like I mentioned already, if anybody heard the very start of our conversation. I am from Kilkenny, so I put together this trip just because I thought it would be a really good idea to bring more tourists into my town. Although, to be honest, we have quite a lot all the time. It seems to be one of those places that everybody wants to stop in, but it's a nice easy trip for you guys to get across. So it starts and finishes in Dublin, so it's super easy for you to just get a quick flight or a ferry across. It stays in a beautiful 4-star hotel actually on this particular one. It's a comfort level trip. So the hotel in itself is only about 500 meters away from my house, and it's only about 200 meters away from the famous Kilkenny Castle. So I think when they call it comfortable hotel, I don't think it really does it justice. It's a really beautiful 4-star hotel, and you're right in the center of everything. You're right in the middle of town. So the reason that I love this one so much is because it stops in the beautiful Glendalough along the way, from Dublin down to Kilkenny. So it's in the Wicklow Mountains. It's beautiful. It's actually the second image that you can see underneath the map. and it's just so fabulous. It's up in the Wicklow Mountains, and lots of great things included on this particular trip, such as a visit to the monastic site in Glendalough. You can do a hurling experience. If anybody's never seen a game of hurling, which is obviously a Gaelic sport, you should definitely give it a watch on YouTube and then try your hand at the hurling experience. That's a really, really interesting game. Of course, there's a great walking tour around Kilkenny as well. It's a medieval city, so you've got the medieval mile, which starts literally about 50 meters away from where I live, and there's a fantastic cathedral up on top of the hill, and then you just walk all the way through town, and there's lots of amazing beautiful buildings along the way. So hopefully you guys can all come over and visit and come and see me in Kilkenny. I really love this one, and like I said, then our departures will be running between May and September, but unfortunately we are still locked down in Ireland, so we may have to revise this. I don't think we'll have too many tourists coming in, but obviously if anybody has any questions about this particular one, I adore it, and it's my trip, so it's my baby. If anyone has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. So of course, I wanted to very quickly tell you guys as well about our tailor-made experiences. So if you like the look of any of these trips, and maybe it's not one of the UK trips, you might be looking at a trip to Vietnam or India. Maybe you don't feel particularly comfortable traveling with strangers from around the world, because we are an Australian company, so you can expect a lot of Aussies and a lot of Kiwis on our trips, but also a lot of Brits, a lot of Irish and Canadians and Americans as well. So you might not want to be with all of those people. Maybe you want to travel with you know, your own extended family, or you want to travel with a group of friends, or maybe just like-minded people. Maybe you're in a hill walking group and you'd like to do a tailor-made experience. We can always put that together for you. So we would always just say a minimum of group size of 2 people. And of course, we like to keep our groups small, but if you want to have a group of 50 people, then we can definitely look at that and try and arrange something. So basically, you can have a look at our itineraries on the website, and you can always adapt that slightly, or you can basically say, okay, we like this itinerary, we just want to do that, and we've got 10 people traveling, give us prices. So of course, you can do all of that through Melissa. I'm really happy to let you know that Intrepid is a trade-friendly company, and we offer complete price parity. So that means basically that you're not going to pay a penny more when you book with Intrepid directly. So we of course love supporting local businesses, and we really want you to support your local travel agents. So if anybody is interested, like I said, if you've got a hill walking group and maybe you're interested in doing something and getting away, maybe you want to go to the Lake District or the Peak District, maybe you want to do something completely different. Maybe you want to do Everest Base Camp or Kilimanjaro or the Inca Trail or anything like that. Of course, we can always put that together, but don't worry, it doesn't have to be an active trip. I'm just using that as an example. So just know that if you did want to put together a group, Intrepid can help you, and you should book that through Melissa. So of course, going forward, we're not operating many trips at the moment. There's a couple running, I think, in Central America, where there's a few North Americans on that, but obviously none of us are traveling over there at the moment. But when we feel like it's ready, everybody's ready to start traveling again and it's safe to do so, of course, we have adopted much stricter health and safety measures across all of our trips. And I'm really happy to let you know that we have received the World Travel and Tourism Council's Safe Travel stamp. It's always a bit of a mouthful, that one, but it's just hopefully will provide you with a bit of assurance that we have adopted health and hygiene global standardized protocols across all of our trips. So there's a lot of information on the website already, but just so you guys know, before we resume any trips in a destination, our itineraries will undergo a comprehensive risk assessment and audit just to make sure it is safe to resume trips. All of our leaders and suppliers, they will have their COVID-19 health and safety training, so they'll know how to spot, you know, if anybody has any symptoms and what to do in that situation. I wanted to put in the third point as well, because I actually think it's pretty important. So if a leader is exhibiting any COVID symptoms before they're due to take a group, they're going to be replaced by another leader, but then they'll still get paid for the duration of the itinerary. So obviously our tour leaders aren't working at the moment, and a lot of them will probably want to jump back into it feet first if they can, but we don't want to risk the safety and the health of our customers. So they're not incentivized to take the group anyways, whether they're feeling well or not. They will be, like I said, if they'll be honest with us, and they'll be replaced by another leader, but they'll still get paid for that. So they don't have to worry about missing out on getting paid for the duration of that trip. So I just thought that was quite interesting to put in. And of course, then When we're traveling, I'm sure masks and hand sanitizer is going to be around for a long time. So our leaders will carry additional masks just in case you forget yours, and they will have hand sanitizer at their disposal at all times as well. So we'll try our very best to keep you guys as safe as possible. And of course, as well, it's probably worth noting Intrepid owns our own DMC network. So a lot of people won't know what that is. So it's a destination management company. And it basically means that we have offices, we have our own offices around the world. So of course, if somebody's not feeling well, we have teams on the ground who will assist them. If somebody needs to be in hospital for a little while, of course, we will have people there who will be with them. So we really do have a lot of benefits traveling with Intrepid. We've got those people there to keep you safe. And of course, our customers and our leaders' safety and their health is absolutely paramount to us. So traveling, I think in 2021 and beyond is it's definitely going to change a little bit. I think a lot of customers really want to know that the companies that they're traveling with have very flexible and relaxed booking conditions. And I'm really happy to let you know that last year we decided to change our flexible booking conditions to give you that peace of mind, or that added peace of mind. So going forward, if you cancel a trip 21 days or more prior to departure, then we're going to hold your deposit as a lifetime credit. It's never going to expire. It can be used on any trip. It doesn't have to be the same trip, but you can also pass over your credit to somebody. So you can give it to a friend or a family member if you want to. If you're cancelling 20 days or fewer prior to departure, then we're going to hold 50% of the monies that you've paid as a credit, and we're also going to retain the remaining 50%. But of course, if you have COVID or flu-like symptoms and you've got a medical certificate to support it, then we won't penalise you. So basically, we'll hold 100% of the money that you've paid in connection with the booking as a credit. And again, it can be used on any trip. So if Intrepid have to cancel a trip, unfortunately that did happen 12 months ago, we're going to tell you as soon as possible, and we'll give you two options. So you can either have 110% credit of the money that you've paid for the trip, or you can have a full refund as well. So that is if Intrepid have to cancel your trip. So I just think that's very important, you know, just to give you that peace of mind. If you know that you're not going to be able, if we know that you're not going to be able to travel, then we will be able to offer you that refund, and you don't have to hang around and wait for it for too long. They're pretty quick at getting them done and sorted. So I think that's pretty important going forward, like I said. And lastly, I just want to remind you why you should book your next Intrepid trip with your local travel agent. So my day-to-day job is basically doing full trainings with agents, doing webinars every day, just making sure that travel agents have everything that they need to do to be able to sell Intrepid to their customers. So really, your travel agent is an Intrepid expert as well. And I've already mentioned Intrepid offer complete price parity. So it means that you don't pay a penny more when you book with your local travel agent. And we do love supporting local businesses, so we hope that you do too. Travel agents also will give you really unbiased advice, and they'll find you the best trip to suit your needs and wants. I personally was a travel agent before I worked for Intrepid, and yeah, it's very true. I mean, sometimes, you know, it's really about matching the customer with the right company, the right tour, whatever it is, the right cruise line. And your travel agent will be able to tell you, because they've traveled on a lot of our tours, they've been on a lot of the cruise lines, they've traveled with all the airlines. So they're able to tell you, you know, which one is going to be the best and which one's really going to suit you the best. And of course, Intrepid is fully ATOL protected and ABTA bonded, so your money is safe when you're booking through your local travel agent as well. So if anybody has any inquiries they might like Melissa to look into, please do get in touch with her and help support her business as well. So guys, that's absolutely everything from me. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and I'll turn back on my camera. So hopefully you all enjoyed that. And I'd really love to take any questions if you have any. Feel free to please turn on your videos, you know, unmute yourselves, jump on and ask any questions you might have. Melissa, you might have a question for me, do you?
That was brilliant, Carrie. Thank you. No, I absolutely love that. I love the yoga and wellness in Cornwall, and yeah, the Irish trip. It looks pretty. And I did actually have a question that I've been texted on the Irish trip. Does the price include the crossing?
It doesn't, unfortunately. So I'm sure, Melissa, I'm sure you can book ferries. I'm not too sure, but you can definitely book the flights anyway. So yeah. Unfortunately, the pricing is all just the tour and obviously your activities and meals as well.
And that's the same for most of your trips anyway, isn't it?
It is, yes.
It is.
Yeah.
The price is the land only or the tour itself. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So
and another that I had. Yeah. Is there a minimum number of people to be on to make the group run?
Great question, actually, and I didn't even touch on that. So with most of our tours, so like if you're looking at some of our worldwide tours like Vietnam and Costa Rica and places like that, they are guaranteed departures at just one person. Some of the new UK, or I should say the Intrepid Retreats, so the UK trips that I touched on there, some of them do have minimum numbers of 4, but it will all be listed on the website. And of course, if you're not too sure, you can get in touch with Melissa and she'll be able to find out for you. But of course, before you book any flights or anything like that, if you're flying maybe from somewhere in the southwest up to Scotland or something like that, you know, we can always let Melissa know, okay, there is only 3 people booked on this, you know, it may not go ahead, but or we'll be able to advise, yeah, of course, there's 5 people on this trip, so it will be going ahead. So yeah, you can liaise with Melissa on that one.
Great. And the only other one that I have been sent was, do you think we'll be needing vaccines in order to travel on the UK? Well, this was about the UK ones, but I guess for it's relevant for all of them, really.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question, actually. And I was asked the same question on the event that I did last night. I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I think a lot of companies, you know, airlines and cruise lines and tour companies are they're all kind of considering it, I suppose, and just kind of waiting to see what other companies are going to do. So at the moment, no, but of course this could change. So Melissa, you'll be the first one to know if that changes, and you can let all of your customers know. I think it's whatever the customers are going to feel most comfortable with. So I think we'll probably reach out to some of our customers who would be, you know, quite loyal and would have done, like, you know, quite a few trips with us, and see what they're thinking as well. And just to see what the WHO are saying. I suppose there's a lot to consider, isn't there? There's a lot of factors at the moment.
Absolutely, and all still a little bit unknown as well. So yeah, we'll at least give it a month or so and see how we get on when we've been released and let back out.
Yeah.
And yeah, and see how it goes from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great.
No worries.
I have another question that has just come up. I think I'm not entirely sure if that is for me or for reading out.
Read it out. It might give us a giggle.
It's about the Wicklow trip.
Oh, right.
Then Wicklow, which is the
like I said,
other than Wicklow, which is the trip you would love to do? Yeah. I think it's to you, actually. Yeah.
When it comes to the UK trips, and I should probably mention as well that the ones that I've showed you are a small snapshot of all of the trips that we have. There's so many more. I'd have been there forever if I was to do them all. But one of the ones that really stood out to me is our Walk the Pembrokeshire Coast trip. I really like this one because I actually went to university in Swansea. So I know how beautiful Pembrokeshire is, and it just looks like a really, really interesting itinerary. There's also another one as well. That is the Walk the Jurassic Coast. So I think it starts in Weymouth, and I can't remember, I'm sorry now, but I can't remember where it finishes, but it does sound like a really cool trip as well. There's a lot of parts of the UK that I haven't been to yet, so I really want to go to all of them. It's just, like I said, my list keeps getting longer and longer. It's hard to get everything ticked off, especially when you can't travel.
Definitely, yeah. It's the Jurassic Coast is an absolutely gorgeous part of the world as well, isn't it? So
yeah, I didn't even know it existed.
Does anyone else have any any other questions? Then you can either type them in the chat box or unmute yourselves if you have any others. I think that's all the ones that I've been sent through.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions, and of course, you know, people might have questions along the way as well. You might take a bit of time to digest it. I know I gave you a lot of information. So of course, if anybody has any questions, I'm sure Melissa won't mind me saying it, but you can reach out to Melissa, and if she doesn't know the answer, then she can reach out. And that's why I'm here, you know, to help out. But I think it was a pretty comprehensive presentation. I covered a lot of information there, so everybody's probably a bit overwhelmed.
Definitely. Well, we're recording it all anyway, so that if anyone wants to go through anything, or if anyone wants to know what the trips are that Carrie spoke to us about, then I can send details through to you anyway. And yeah, I mean, the Bakewell tarts and the beer tasting kind of caught my eye as well. So yeah, there's definitely quite a few trips on the retreat trips that are yeah, just fabulous anyway. So yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you very much, Carrie.
Not at all.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much. And keep an eye on the website. You know, the website is it's constantly being updated with lots of new trips, and as we go along, we're adding more and more. So I'm working on one for Northern Ireland at the moment, which is pretty interesting and pretty exciting. So fingers crossed you'll see that soon on the website. I feel like a bit of a jack of all trades, master of none. I feel like I've got my hand in every pot at the moment. So, but trying to help out, because I love Northern Ireland as well. It's beautiful. So, but yeah, thank you so much for having me, Melissa. I really appreciate it. And thanks everybody for giving me your time and attention. I really, really do appreciate it. And hopefully we can welcome you on an Intrepid trip soon.
Yeah, fabulous. So yeah, if anyone has any feedback on tonight's travel taster, then please let me know. And if you have any questions on anything, then send them through or give me a call. It would be nice to have a chat and say hi. And then yeah, so we will be back again next week at the same time, 7:30, and we'll be going slightly further afield than the UK, but we'll actually be looking at Thailand next Tuesday with Wide-Eyed Tours. So that'll be a bit of a teaser. I'm hoping that it will be sunny here as well, so that we can feel like we're in the right mode, and it's not just raining, but we'll see. So yeah, hopefully everyone can join for that, and look out for the links. Otherwise, just send me a message and I'll send you the link. I'll have it a bit more prepared on my screen for next time, ready. But yeah, but thank you again. Thank you, Carrie, and thank you to everyone. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks so much, guys. Thanks, everybody. Have a nice evening.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.